Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over two brand new products from Anastasia Beverly Hills. First, I'm going to be talking about the collaboration palette with Alyssa Edwards. This is what it is right here. This is what it looks like, as well as their new eye primer. Now, I got these in PR only after I had already purchased the palette. So this palette that I purchased, I am going to put in the giveaway that I recently did. The winner of that giveaway has been contacted. It is Brittany Frederick. Congratulations to you. And yeah, you've got a new goodie to add to the giveaway. I am doing 3 different looks with this palette, including the one that I'm wearing right now, which is a little bit softer, and then 2 that are way more dramatic. I'll show you guys right here. But before I do, I'm going to get into all the information, and then my thoughts and a little comparison to the Riviera palette will be at the end. First, I want to talk about the Alyssa Edwards collaboration palette. I love the look of this. I love the eyes. It's very Alyssa Edwards. And then on the back, it says always and forever Alyssa Edwards with a little heart. And then on the inside, these are the shades that you are getting. So as you can see, we have some bold colors in here. There are some natural shades, but mainly this is a very bold palette. And then as always, you're getting the brush, which I don't keep these. It is on the better side of brushes that you get with palettes, but I still not a big fan. The Alyssa Edwards eyeshadow palette retails for $45 and it is limited edition. It was created in collaboration with drag queen extraordinaire and star of RuPaul's Drag Race, Alyssa Edwards. This limited edition palette features 14 all new shadows and pressed pigments, including 11 mattes and 3 metallics for creating vivacious looks for day and night. So this is being called an eyeshadow palette, at least on the Sephora site. Let me see what it says on here. On the back of the palette, it does say eyeshadows and pressed pigments are in here, so they've got themselves covered. In case you're wondering, pigments are not considered to be eye safe. Some people can have irritation with them, and I did have some staining, but that doesn't bother me, but just to let you guys know. And then a little note from Alyssa Edwards. It says, I don't get cute, I get drop dead gorgeous, and now you can too. My dream for this palette was to create a color story that will give you life, one that will bring out the inner beast in everyone. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the swatches. We have 10 eyeshadows in Headliner, Matte Bright White, Inspire, Metallic Champagne Gold, Unicorn Tribe, Matte Cool Plum Pink, Brick Road, Matte Primary Yellow, Back Rolls, Matte Warm Chocolate Brown, The Supreme, Matte Deep Peach, Ho, Matte Neutral Taupey Brown, DDG, Rich Metallic Violet with Silver Flecks, Beyond, Warm Metallic Fuchsia, and Beast, Matte Blackest Black. Then we have 4 pressed pigments in Texas Made, Matte Fuchsia Hot Pink Pressed Pigment, Dream It Matte Royal Blue Pressed Pigment, BBDC Deep Cool Aubergine Pressed Pigment, and Believe Violet Purple Pressed Pigment. Now, I also want to mention that during the month of June only, Sephora will be donating $1 from each of the sale of this palette to LGBTQ organizations. Moving right along to the eye primer, this has been heavily compared to the P. Louise base, so I will address that at the end of the video, but I'm just going to talk about this for right now. This retails for $23 and you're getting a ½ an ounce of product. I'm going to show you the color. It's very, very light. On my eyes, it basically looks white. So there is the color of it. This is a water-resistant and long-wearing formula that glides on smoothly and creates a perfect base for both eyeshadows and pressed pigments. It helps to ensure smooth, blendable application and smudge-free wear. The light-colored base enhances vibrancy and reduces the appearance of fine lines. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and get into the first two looks, which are more on the bold side, and then I will show you guys the look that I'm wearing right now. On this side right here, I have my ABH primer all over the lid, and I also carved out my brow, and I did not set it. So I'm gonna try this out. I have used this primer several times, but I have not used this palette, so I'm using the primer on this side and then my normal method on this side, which is Tarte Shape Tape and MAC Blanc type to set it. So I'm going to start off on this side. Weighing glass number 18, I'm going to grab the shade Unicorn Tribe. I'm going to start off by just packing this on the outer corner. It's good pigmentation. I've already gotten a little bit of fallout from it though. It's a dark shade, to be expected. Now I'm going to blend this out, bringing it upward. Circular motions. Adding a little bit more to the outer corner. And then again, I'm bringing it up just a little bit. I'm bringing it into the crease, but I'm only bringing it about halfway in. And this is where I want the majority of the product, on the outer corner, the actual crease, and then blending up the excess. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this all the way in. Just going around the edges to make sure everything is nice and blended out. Same brush, but now I'm grabbing the shade Believe. Again, I'm going to start on the outer corner, just packing that into place, and then bringing it into the crease. Just doing back and forth windshield wiper motions in the crease, and then slightly blending it upward. I like to do this kind of motion when I want just a little bit to come up. I'm pushing it up, but there's not a lot left on my brush, so it blends it nicely. I want to pack this shade a little bit onto the lid, like halfway. Refer P07C, I don't remember what the new name for the brush is, but I'm going to grab this black shade right here, and it's called Beast. I'm just going to apply this to the very outer corner. I'm going to be honest, I can't really see this from this far away because that purple was so pigmented. I'm going to pick it up a few times. Like, I don't know, I'm going to have to get a mirror. I don't know if this is a pigmented black, or if it's not pigmented, or if it's just that the purple is so dark. But hold on, let me get a mirror. I think this just might not be a very pigmented black. Maybe it's just not attaching over that purple. I'm not sure, but I'm going to pack this on to the outer corner. There we go, I can see it a little bit better. MAC 242 and this white shade called Headliner. I'm going to highlight my brow arch and then blend out the excess. Now I'm going in with the primer on a MAC 242, and I am going to do a little cut crease action. I do not usually do this, but I feel like this primer is made for it, so I feel like I should try it. Just cutting out the front portion first, into like straight up to the crease, and then kind of tapping over the edge right here. I'm going to take the excess from my brush, the weighing glass brush, just tap over the edge. MAC 242 again, and this yellow called Brick Road. I am going to pack this on the center of the lid first. I'm going to tap over the edge. help blend them together. Now I'm not liking this little harsh line right here, so I'm going to go back in with that purple shade and a MAC 221. And I'm just going to tap this right over where the purple is. The yellow, the edge of the yellow. I feel like I'm going to have to go back and forth. Like, this really bothers me. Same MAC 242, I just wiped it off, and I'm going to grab the shade Inspire. I am going to, I got a lot of fallout with that. I'm going to place this on the front portion of the lid and tapping over that yellow. Royal and Lane Nickel and this metallic purple shade. I am going to go in with this wet. Wow, that has like no pigmentation. Hold on. Hold, please. I'm gonna pack this on. There we go. We just gotta build that one up. Royal and Lane Nickel BOM 485, and I'm going to take Brick Road again. I am placing this right on the front portion. And then the Royal and Lane Nickel BOM 42 and Texas Made. I am just going to take this right along, right butted up against to blend out the edges of those two. Mainly the purple, so that's all cohesive. And then lastly, I'm going to go back in with the white shade on a Rougher 03. And I want to bring this on the inner corner to really brighten this area up. After I get this laid down, I'm going to go ahead and add lashes and liner, and then we'll move on to the other side. To finish off this eye look, I used Tom Ford's Eye Defining Pen to do the liner up top. I used Milk Boss Liner for the top inner rim, a pair of Kiss Ritzy lashes, and then from Buxom, I used Doors Unlocked for the lower lash line waterline right in here. Now I'm going to move on to this eye, and remember this one was primed with Tarte Shape Tape and then set with Max Blanc Type. Refer P07A and the Supreme. I'm going to, just like the other side, start on the outer V right here, apply the color, and then start blending it upward. I'm going to bring this all the way in, but I'm using the excess from the brush to do so. This is a really pretty color. I like it a lot. Wayne Goss 26S and this matte blue called Dream It. Again, tapping onto the outer crease, and just like the purple, this one had immediate fallout. I don't think I saw any fallout from the last shade we applied, or I applied. I'm packing this on the outer corner first, and then blending into the crease. Mainly just on this outer corner right here for now, because I'm not sure where I'm going with this look. I had an idea about this one I have no idea. As I'm blending this out, it's definitely losing some of its opacity. I'm going to go back in with my original brush and go right around the edges. And then packing on again. So I'm not sure if you can see it on camera or not, but with this blue, it keeps not completely attaching right here. And I'm not sure if it's because it needed to have the Anastasia base or if that's just a kind of patchy issue, because it's laying down. When I first place the color down, it's very pigmented, but when I go to blend, I'm getting a little bit of patchiness with this shade. This is the first one I feel like I have really experienced that with. So it's not major, but it's definitely there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this a little further into the crease because I have a feeling I'm going to want to cover this up. Yeah, can you see it? It's just not wanting to attach right there. I wiped off the excess from that brush. I'm going to go in with that matte purple shade called Believe. Now, I was not planning on using this shade again in this look. However, I want to see if this one attaches. So basically, if this is working over here and it's not blending away to nothingness on the outer corner, which it's not. I'm blending and it's staying. If it doesn't blend away to nothingness, then I know it's not the primer, it's the color blue. And I'm going to blend this as well into the crease a little bit. So I definitely feel that it was the blue that was the issue because this is much smoother. You can still kind of see through where the blue was a little patchy underneath, but this grabbed a hold so much better and I was able to blend. So I feel like the problem was the blue, not necessarily the fact that I didn't have the same type of primer. Esom W21 and the shade Beyond. I am going to pack this all over the front portion of the lid and tapping over the purple as well. And I am using this shade Dry. MAC 242, and I'm going to grab the matte white, and I am going to highlight my brow arch so that it's a little bit similar on both sides. I feel like the peachy shade doesn't go with this look now, so I kind of want to have some kind of cohesiveness because I was planning on doing more blue, but I feel like it's just a little too patchy, so we had to abort. I cleaned up my under eye really quickly. Now I'm going to take a MAC 221 and Believe. I am just going to lightly run this all along the lower lash line. Refer 03, and I'm going to take the shade Beyond. And I am going to use this wet, going right up against the lower lash line. See, this one worked much better than that last purple, using it wet like it's pigmented straight out the bat, like the metallic purple on this side. I'm just taking my brush and blending out the edges. Wayne Goss number 19 and Dream It. I'm going to see if I can get this blue to pack on the outer corner. See, look, when you just like pack it and you don't blend it, it's really pretty. So like maybe if you had the primer all over and then just packed the color on, I don't know. It's a problem child though. See, and now when I go back and just blend, most of it goes away. And I'm going to add it back in again. Headliner and a MAC 242. I am just going to stick with this little white shade for the inner corner. And then after I get this laid down, I am going to go just finish off this look. I finished off this look the same way that I did the original one. Now let's move on to today's look. Zoeva 227 and the Supreme. I am starting this on the outer corner, and today I only have the Anastasia primer on. I don't have it set with anything or anything like that. It's just all by itself. Taking this shade and I am buffing it on the outer portion first and bringing it upward. And I'm going to work it into the transition area. MAC 221, same shade, and I am just running this right along the lower lash line. Stilazzi L211 Color Blend and the shade Ho. I am going to go directly into the crease and then the outer corner just to make sure it blends, but I just want to add some depth with this shade. The MAC 221 I used from earlier and the shade BBDC. I really wanted to kind of go safe and use that brown for today, but I realized I haven't tried this shade, so we're going to do this one instead of the brown. I'm just applying this to the outer corner and doing little tapping motions and then like the tiniest little small circular motions, because I don't want this to be a dramatic look. Overly dramatic, that is. And I'm just tapping over the edges to blend out that edge. And I'm going to slightly bring up this outer portion of the eye right here in the crease. Just a little bit. The reason why I wanted to go a little bit safer was because I'm going to see my mom today, and I was like, I didn't want it to be too dramatic, but I think this is nice. MAC 242 and Inspire. I am going to place this all over the lid, and I didn't pick up as much as I did last time because I had fallout last time. And yeah, this does not need a lot on your brush. It lays down very nicely. Just going to tap over the purple. Same old headliner for the brow arch. As well as the inner corner on a Wayne Goss 05, and I'm going to go finish off the look. To finish off the look, all I did was add on mascara, and then I added a few little individuals for a little bit more drama, and then Milk Boss Liner on the top inner rim. Okie dokie, now it's time for my thoughts, and I want to start off with the eye primer. Now, when I first used this, the very first time, because I've been testing this out to see if I liked it with other shadows rather than just with this palette, I put it on, I carved out my brow with it, and I kind of thought that it accentuated the dryness, especially right up here where, you know, you pluck or, you know, have your brows done. I was like, oh, it accentuates it so much. So initially I was like, oh, I don't like it, but I went ahead with it, testing it out. And then I found that I really like the way the shadows go on top of this. It looks dry at first. I'm telling you, when you put this on your eyes, especially if you have dry issues at all, it looks dry. It just looks really dry. And then when you put the shadows on top of it, it's really, really smooth and it's very easy to blend. The one big difference I see between the two of these is that this one, it has a little bit of tackiness to it, but not grab. It's going to grab at your shadows, but not at your brush, if that makes sense. This one, the P. Louise base, is almost just a little bit too wet, and I always use this with my Blanc type on top of it because I felt like when I used it alone, I would get a little bit of drag from my brush, and it can deepen up some of your shadows. However, if you want to use this for like cut crease and whatnot, it's really good. It's still a really good primer, but I always used it with Blanc type over top of it. This one, I don't have to do that. None of the shadows I have used this with have I had to do that with. So I really like this. There's one big problem though. I feel like they should come out with different shades because this is pretty stark. Even on me, it is like white. So for deeper skin tones and stuff, yes, it's going to make your eyeshadows pop and it's going to be great for a cut crease. I feel like they need to have a broader selection of colors instead of just the one base. That way, more people would be able to use it as an all over eye base. I just don't think that this one shade, especially it being this light, is going to work for everyone if you're using it as an all over eye base. So that's my thought on this. I love it, but I do think that it needs more colors. Also, if you have very dry eyes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that this is going to work, but I do think that if you have oily lids, this could be a game changer for you. Moving on to the eyeshadow palette. So I love the colors in here. Let me go ahead and show you guys the Riviera palette right beside it. So there they are side by side. This one definitely has more metallics in here, and while it does have bright shades, they aren't the same, and on the eyes you're definitely going to get different looks. The only thing that's really similar are these two shades right here, and even this palette is a little bit deeper than this one, but both have really great white shades. So let's talk about this palette. First off, the look that I'm wearing today, this was easy. This look I love. I had no issues with any of the shades. Everything went on well. I think it is beautiful. I definitely think that Inspire, the first time I used it, I think I dug into it a little bit too much and got fallout, because when I used DDG for the first time, you saw when I used that and I used it wet, it was like I had nothing there at first, and then I had to build it up. Basically, you just kind of need to dig into that one a little bit, kind of like the recent Huda Beauty palettes that I reviewed. You kind of have to get into it a little bit and soften it up because it's a little bit harder to press. I had no issues with Beyond. Now let's talk about the very first look I did, where I had the bright yellow and the purple and pink. Pink blended out easily, had no issues with that at all. And then when I went in with the purple, I didn't see any issues whenever I was blending it in like my mirror. I could see a little something on camera, but nothing major. I wouldn't complain about it. The yellow definitely works better just straight onto the base. On my lower lash line where I didn't have that eye primer, I felt like I had to pack it on more to get the color to show up, versus being applied straight onto that bright white base. And that's where you're really going to get most of your impact, is when you pack it onto the primer. And then obviously I already talked about what happened with the purple metallic. Then the second look I did, this blue is a little disappointing. It's patchy and I have issues with it kind of blending away a little bit. I feel like it's just a little bit questionable. I did go ahead and try this on top of just the base. So I'm going to insert a little clip. I took this video with my phone, so it was a little shaky, but I wanted you guys to see that it's a little bit more consistent on the base in of itself. So it grabs a little better, but it's still slightly patchy because I blended, and you can see maybe just a little bit, but I definitely think that this blue needs to be packed on, and it needs to be on top of this base. It doesn't work very well otherwise. It's a problem child of the palette. With the pigments, I think you're gonna have better luck with packing and slightly blending versus really blending them out. This palette is very pretty. I like it. I don't love it, although I do love the look that I have on today. I would give this palette a B-. Somebody was asking me to start giving it like an alphabetical rating, and I'm like, oh, that gives me anxiety to do it, but I would say B-. I definitely like the Riviera. Like I said, I like it better, but just keep in mind that you're gonna have to work with this a little bit with those really bright shades, and your best bet is definitely going to be to have the base underneath and packing motions. All right, you guys, let me know what you think about the looks. Let me know what you think about the palette, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.